You see the title of the video, yet another driver has paid a price in the gig economy. But I want to ask you folks a few questions. Number one, how many of you in the food delivery part of the gig economy, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, how many of you bring a family member with you on your runs to maintain safety? Perhaps a few more eyes and ears might make an assailant a little bit less likely to act. Well, apparently that doesn't necessarily have as much value as we might think. Check this out.
8:32, we start with this breaking news from overnight. The search is on for a suspect who police say shot a food delivery driver.
The man was delivering an order at an apartment complex. This is on Imperial Valley Drive near Esplanade in the greater Greenspoint area of North Houston. ABC 13's Rosie Nguyen joins us live this morning outside HPD headquarters. And Rosie, any idea why this victim was targeted?
That's still under investigation, Brandon and Charlie. But if this was truly a random act, it is definitely a cause of concern for the community when someone can be attacked so violently while on the job. Here is some video that was shot at the scene last night. You can see the police response didn't make it very far into the apartment complex. Houston police say this happened around 10 o'clock last night when an Uber Eats driver was making a food delivery while his wife and child were in the car waiting for him. When he came back, someone allegedly approached the driver and shot him in the chest.
The suspect ran off, and the male got back in his car and he went down the street just a little further. Officers actually met the complainant and found him right down the street here, and they started first aid using a chest seal.
HPD says the victim was transported to the hospital, and at last check, he is in stable condition. We're told that his wife and child were not hurt, thankfully. Investigators say they are looking into this case as a robbery, possibly even a carjacking. And this morning, they still don't have a suspect in custody. Reporting live from HPD headquarters, Rosie Nguyen, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Shot in the chest right in front of his wife and child. No one in custody as of yet. If we can find out a little bit more about the story, we'll certainly bring that to you later, linking it in the description. But I do want to bring these stories to you, not necessarily because a lot of us veteran drivers don't know this shit goes on, but there are often new and prospective drivers that watch the content. And if you listen to Uber, Lyft, or some of these other gig companies, they paint this shit as roses and rainbows. It's not, folks. It simply is not. A lot of drivers are victimized, up to and including loss of life. That is a realistic possibility when you're operating as an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, or in the food services, like in this case, Uber Eats, DoorDash, or Grubhub. Right in front of his wife and child, he was actually letting accompany him on trips. Fortunately, it appears as if this driver will survive the incident. You hear the officer stating they were able to apply a chest seal, and he actually was still functioning, so it didn't take him out of the game. Maybe no substantial biological structures were hit, even though he was shot in the chest. But what I want to bring to you folks, the question I want to ask is, have you ever had, as a food delivery driver, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, have you ever had a confrontation with potential customer, or let's say somebody in the apartment complex you were delivering to, maybe a homeowner thought you were trespassing, or something of that nature? This is one of the reasons why I personally prefer ushering passengers from point A to point B as opposed to food delivery. I don't want to get out and be going on people's property, or in some cases into the hallway of apartment complexes and things like that. A lot of folks, you know, what they call them, Karens, but you got a lot of folks who are real property conscious. You know, they don't know your face, and all of a sudden they want to get violent or call the police or confront you. Just a lot of bad things can happen. So what I'm asking is, while in the process of delivering an order, have you ever had a confrontation, a negative confrontation with someone else on the property, or maybe even the homeowner themselves? Because I believe we had a story we covered a while back where a delivery driver was shot by a homeowner that did not realize someone else in the home placed the order and thought the individual was trespassing, potentially breaking in the home, and they actually shot the driver. I'll see if I can link that story. But have you ever had any confrontation like that? Not to mention pets, dogs. I always suggest that drivers carry defensive tools on you, obviously for animals, probably some mace or pepper spray. But when it comes to two-legged animals, a damn gun might be necessary, like in this case. The authorities to wrap the video up say that they believe it could have been a potential carjacking, but they don't know who the assailant is as of yet, so that person is still on the loose, on the street. Last but not least, when making deliveries, have you ever seen a scenario, and this could apply to rideshare drivers as well, you pull up and something just does not look or feel right, and you just drive off. Now, for a food delivery person, that could mean driving off with the food in the car. It does not feel safe for me to get out of this car and make this delivery. Have you ever had something like that happen? Now, being from the south side of Chicago myself, I've went to meet people, for instance. You pull up on the block, certainly when the projects were still in existence for my Chicago viewers, the Robert Taylors, places like that. You pull up and it's like, it doesn't necessarily look kosher for me to get out of the car. So I've had to call, come on downstairs. I'm not even getting out the car. You got a lot of fools standing in front of the building. Well, what if you got to make a food delivery like that? Where you got a lot of idiots in front of the building, or the porch is crowded with a lot of folks that are already staring at you, wondering who the hell you are. And you think to yourself, maybe this food delivery is not worth the $5 or $6 I'm about to get paid. Stay safe out there, folks. These are real life scenarios that keep coming at us fast. Summer is here. The weather's warm. People are going to get killed. Feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.